2014. So, yeah, 2014, so we continue to do voter education, voter registration. We do a lot of things and community forums. So I thank you guys for being here today. Also, we are 501c3, and of course, you know, 501c3, we ask for money. Yes, we continue to have these sort of forums. So in September, we're having a luncheon that we've been doing for 12 years. We honor women from our community who are involved in doing good things. So that's what we'll be doing September the 19th. So on the back table there, we have an envelope. You can, if you feel like you want to make a donation, you can do that. And thank you, and I will bring up Trevor Harvey, please.
Good afternoon to all. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I'm going to do what I was asked to do and keep it moving. But I'm Trevor Harvey, the president of the NAACP here locally. We're glad to see you all here. We're interested in looking forward to hearing what you have. I'm here to introduce our moderator for this evening. He is no stranger to this community. He is a product of this community. Matter of fact, this room that we are standing in, sitting in, is named after his father, who Beam is named after. He's a graduate of Pine View High School, University of Chicago, Florida State University alumni as well, Mr. Ed James III.
Thank you so much, Mr. Harvey. I have to say it is a pleasure being here today. When I briefly spoke to Mr. Red Watson, he said, you know, your dad would be really proud of you if he saw you. I said, he's still looking at me, he's right there. So it is an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you to Mrs. James. Thank you to the esteemed Suncoast Women of Action members who thought it not robbery to bring the community forum specifically to the Newtown community, specifically to North Sarasota, because we know that this is a community rich in history, this is a community rich in tradition, and this is a community that has questions. And so I want to thank you all again for extending that opportunity. I want to thank the candidates for coming out today. I know you all are very busy. We have some folks who came all the way from Northport, and then we have some folks who've been traveling. So again, we just want to thank you all so much for coming out and lending yourself to public service. We know that that's not an easy task. It often comes with long nights, a lot of frustrations. If you're doing it the right way, comes with a lot of miles on your car, a lot of miles on your sneakers, and sometimes, like I learned, you can get cursed out in multiple languages. and so that's always a good thing. But again, I want to thank all the candidates for coming out today. So with that said, I'm going to try to run a tight ship today. I have Mrs. Katrina Ward, who is a member of Suncoast Women of Action, and she is going to be our timekeeper. So if you see me kind of laser focused on that lady with the beautiful red frames, that is why. So each of you will be given 3 minutes to give your answer, give your response. I will let you know if it looks like you're getting, close to perhaps exceeding that. I'll try to give you a 1 minute or a 30-second heads up. At the 3 minute mark, I will not cut you off, but I'm gonna just ask that you finish your thought. Is that fair?
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Now, what I will also do is, I know that people often complain, why'd you ask me first? Why'd you ask me second? Or why are you asking me last? So we're going to alternate between districts, between candidates, so everyone feels that they have a fair shake today. So I don't know if you all go to church, but if you do, and we agree with something, we say amen. So does everybody understand?
Amen.
All right, excellent. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. In 1 minute or less, what is the single most important personal experience or motivation that drove you to run for the school board? And actually in 3 minutes or less. What is the single most important personal experience or motivation that drove you to run? And we're going to start with District 4, Frank DeChico.
I gotta go first.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me today. I appreciate it very much. What started this whole thing is my sons, I have two teenage sons, and they were going to Suncoast Polytech. And that school is just amazing. They've been just thriving there. And what was really nice is in robotics, something that they specialize in, they are the #1 in the world. They competed worldwide. Right here in Orlando, there was a big event, and they won. Well, apparently, they were trying to fill empty school buildings, so our board and our superintendent picked that school as one to say, you know, we don't really need the kids in that school. I'm gonna move them someplace else, away from SCF, where they also do dual enrollment, kind of just mess all that up, and basically tell them, too bad, so sad, we'll do something else with the building, maybe move the people from the landings there. Well, the meetings at that point used to be at 6 o'clock at night, and the students went. They went to the school, to the board meeting, and they talked against it, and they tried to help the superintendent and the school board know, you guys, this is not just some building. We have labs in there. I mean, it's just this whole environment. And in the end, my one son actually spoke. He said that they changed their mind, which I thought was pretty cool that they did change their mind. And then the meetings got moved to 10 a.m. And all I kept thinking about was, well, if that had happened prior to this, they would no longer be at that school. And it really bothered me, amongst other things, because the whole politics going on in our boardroom is unacceptable. We need to focus on the students and the teachers. But without that, whatever we all say that really did hit home for me. And I don't think anybody realized, at least on that board, that one change from 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. affected 36,000 students and all of their parents, all of the teachers, and we have every right to be in those meetings to, quite frankly, challenge them when they're making decisions for us, because after all, they do work for us. Terry works for the board, but they work for us. So I thought maybe it was time. Am I done, or?
1 minute.
All right. So I felt it was time to get involved. So I decided to do it. I know that everybody here, we all do the same thing. It's a big risk to go out and do it, but I'm very excited. And while I'm not an educator, I did go to school as an adult. I graduated Eckerd College in 2014 up here in St. Pete. I did graduate with high honors, and I was in academia in this century, not when I was originally in academia back in the 80s. I learned a lot. So I think I bring some really cool things to the board. And the other piece is that I I was a volunteer court mediator here in Sarasota County. And about 100 cases I mediated, I had about a 70% resolution rate. I think with that skill that I had, that I developed over those years, can help us work together with the board, so it's not this constant divided 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and nothing really gets done. So again, I want to thank you for allowing me to speak tonight, and thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. DeChico. Michelle Posey, District 5.
Yes. So, Mr. James, I noticed you kind of phrased it as almost like a why.
Yes.
Your big why. Well,
Yes.
I'm sure I'll have time to tell you all the things about why I feel like I'm qualified for this. But I have to tell you, when you said that, my heart kind of dropped, because my why is not something that's going to be all butterflies and rainbows. Literally, I've been kind of very active at the school board level for quite some time, 6, 7 years. There's no absence of my mouth and what I've said and how I feel and what I believe and how strongly I believe it. But tragedy literally struck my family about 1.5 years ago in the terms of like a divorce and then the loss of a child. Granted, he was 25 at the time, but still a blow to my world. It's so unnatural to have a parent have to bury a child. And in that process, of course, I already had a job, already doing things that I love to do. And I kept hearing over and over, God kept putting on my heart, don't stop things that you thought were in forward progress just because you hit a cycle of grief. And sometimes what we do with grief, as I'm learning, because it's a journey, sometimes taking the focus off of yourself and your own personal need and your own personal grief and putting it on somebody else really helps launch you out of the first stage of grief. And that's what I did. I thought, what am I real passionate about? I mean, I'm a mother. First and foremost, that was my biggest passion. So would God maybe have another opportunity for me to continue to have an impact on young people's lives? I've taught in the performing arts industry for about 25 years for children 3 and up. Usually children that don't learn in a typical classroom setting real well. They flourished in my classrooms because they were allowed to move and be creative. I work with young people in civic engagement right now as a volunteer. That's something that's important to me. But God made me not be done with this one phase of my life just because I'm in a sad moment. And as soon as I laced up the sneakers and took the high heels off and went and knocked doors and started talking to parents, started talking to community members, started talking to churchgoers and saying, how do you feel about our school district? Are these things still bothering you? Do you see some of the academic, some of the gaps in achievement? How does that make you feel? I got passionate again, and it lit me on fire. And I feel like it's been part of a healing journey. I think it's gonna be to give back to the community, but I have to tell you, there is a bit of selfishness to it in that it's been really good for me to get focused on you guys again instead of just my own world.
Thank you so much, Ms. Posey. I'm gonna have Greg Marshall of the Jimmy Glover campaign. Go ahead.
First of all, thank you, everyone.
Dr. Greg Marshall, sorry.
Thank you, Ed and Helen,
No
Ms.
problem.
James for hosting this. Thank you, Trevor, for hosting this, and thank you for bringing it to Newtown. It's very well needed here. I'm Jimmy Glover. I'm not Jimmy Glover. I'm Greg Marshall. I'm Jimmy Glover's campaign manager. I'm really trying to channel him as best as I can. I know I look better than he does, so everybody. I know I do. So I'll do the best that I can. And I think I'm really I like that question because Jimmy and I speak all the time. And when he was thinking about running, he came to my office, which is right down the street, and said this is why he wanted to run. So that question is, thank you for the question and why he wants to run. I don't know if anyone knows this, but Jimmy is the board president of a school right down the street. Right down the street is located at Janie's Garden. If anyone around here knows where it is, it's located in the rec room at Janie's Garden where he's the board president of. And the reason that he became the board president is because there was a story told to him and his wife at the Reed House. The story was just this. There was a second grader, a girl, who lived at Janie's Garden that had just gotten expelled from school. She got expelled from school because she couldn't sit down, she couldn't be still, she couldn't learn the way to do it, and the school that she was districted to go to couldn't handle it. Well, she lived with her grandparents, so there was absolutely no one. The grandparents couldn't drive, they lived in Janie's Garden, there was no one that could drive her to the alternative school. There was nowhere for her to go to school, even though we have plenty of schools of choice in this county, there was nowhere for her to go. So Jimmy thought, and he came up with an idea to have a school that was located right in the heart of Janie's Garden for this specific purpose. And he got with Allison, who was a graduate of, I think she was the principal of Pineview. He got with her, and they developed a school. It's called Star Lab. And Star Lab is for a specific purpose. It's for kids that have not, they call them falling through the cracks. Thank you for that. They call it falling through the cracks. And he designed this school to be specific to that heart, and he started with 5 students. And he said, this problem can't be just here in Newtown. It can't just be isolated here at this school. And he thought, I had this idea. I think that I can bring this idea to everyone. Jimmy has 4 kids that have gone through school here. They all 4 have graduated from Booker. All 4 of them are in college or have graduated from college. Right now, I'm here because he was dropping off one of them to Denmark, where he got an internship, and he couldn't make it back. So that's why Jimmy wants to be a school board member. Yes, ma'am. That's why he wants to be a school board member, and we hope you get your vote.
Thank you, Dr. Marshall. Heidi Brandt, District 1.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you here and tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm running. I always hold up my picture and say, this little girl, my daughter, is first and foremost the reason why I decided to step into this race. She is in 4th grade at Southside Elementary School, where I have been extremely involved for the past 4 years. This past year, it was my pleasure to be the PTO president at Southside, where I really had an opportunity to work with the teachers, work with the students, work with admin, and get a real feel for what the needs are of a school. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but not just our school, but beyond. I have been heavily involved with the corporation or LLC called the Holiday House, SRQ. We come out to Booker, we go to the other Title I schools, and we make magic happen around the holidays. And for Goshen Elementary School, when they needed shoes or coats, we make that happen. So yes, I've been deeply involved at Southside Elementary School, and I love the work that I've done there. But also, I've stepped out into the broader community and really tried to meet the needs of other students all over the community. Just recently, I was elected to be the president of our school's foundation. Southside is the only elementary school that has a wonderful foundation for our arts programs, for our theater students. And I bring that up because people, my peers, elected me to be the president because they saw the leadership I did as PTO. I wasn't the loudest person, I wasn't shouting from the rooftops to be a PTO. I just got the job done because I care so much. And so that means setting budgets, that means working with teachers, that means understanding the curriculum. That means actually hiring teachers. This past week we had a teacher that we pay for on our foundation leave to explore greater things. And that means now I'm sitting down for interviews and going through that process. So the experience that I've had really has made me excited at the opportunity to serve all of our Sarasota County schools. And I am just really excited about that opportunity. Another thing is I've been attending these school board meetings for a long time, and the resounding wish is to have a parent on the school board. We need a parent's voice back on the school board. A parent's voice that's going to, oh, is that my one or is that it? Oh, yes. We need a parent's voice back on the school board. Everyone says we need a teacher's voice, and I agree. I've had many conversations on Facebook, on Messenger. Yes, teachers' voices are so important. I'd love to have a teacher on the school board. But right now, you have a parent who wants to be there, who is going to listen, who's going to work with teachers, and who's going to advocate for an excellent curriculum and bring our schools into the future. Keep going with the K-8 concept. Keep going with STEM programs, bringing workforce training back into our high schools, and even more so. So I'm really excited about the opportunity. I think my experience and my passion will help me do a great job on the school board.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brand. Beth Mayberry, District 5.
I'm gonna stand up because I sort of feel like I don't have to sit at the table. Oh, I'm sorry. First thing I want to do is remind everybody that wherever you live in the district or in the county, we're going to have 3 different seats that you get to vote for. So you're going to be able to vote for seat 1, seat 4, or seat 5. So please make sure, and that's regardless of your party or non-party affiliate, there's going to be a ballot for you at the ballot box. I have lived here in Sarasota County for 50 years. We used to live up by the dog truck. And then about 35 years ago or so, we moved down to Northport. My kids went to Gosia, my daughter went to Booker Middle, the kids went to Basics Plus, and then when we moved down to Northport, we went to the Northport and Venice schools. It's really important to me because I have been volunteering in our schools since about 1993. I was in financial services for 25 years and ended my career as a certified financial planner, helping families to build their futures. And while I was doing that, I was volunteering in the schools, and that's where I really realized that was my passion, was working with kids. And the end result was me becoming a teacher here in Sarasota County. I taught in middle school, mostly South County because that's where I live. I've been on numerous community boards. I was on the Environmentally Sensitive Land Oversight Committee Board. I was on the South County Tiger Bay Board. I was on the Northport Chamber of Commerce Board and actually served as the interim director there for a few months while we were looking for a new director. So I've been very, very involved in my community. I just retired about 1.5 years ago, and as a teacher, it's pretty consuming of a job. And that didn't really give us as much bandwidth to be out there in the community as we wanted. But after I retired, I started paying a lot more attention to what was happening on our school board. And having lived through the COVID years in the schools, and then also following along what was going on, I realized that we really needed help here in Sarasota County. We really needed to refocus on our classrooms and stop focusing on what happened a long time ago, start looking forward, and start making sure we were putting our emphasis on our children. So it was those school board meetings that I started watching, the one with the ICE resolution, that really motivated me to run, and I'm hoping we can get rid of the partisan politics and make sure we're focusing on our children.
Thank you, Ms. Mayberry. Teresa DeWitt,
Thank
District
you.
1.
Well, I feel like we've already all kind of connected here earlier before we started, and so again, thank you for having me. You know, I've not been able to share this story on the campaign trail. And so I really appreciate this specific question. I've been in this community for about 10 years. My husband and I moved here with our 6-month-old twins. And, you know, we were considered the COVID kindergarten class. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care if your children were in school or graduated. COVID affected everyone, and it affected everyone differently, and you experienced it differently. So my experience with my children is that when we got to school, we were told that we couldn't walk our children to class, our 5-year-olds that had just turned 5. They were one of the earliest in the class. And then we were told that we could not volunteer in the classroom. And then we were told that we could not eat lunch with our children. And then we were told that grandparents couldn't participate. And then we were told that no one could come to graduation. And this was all at the very beginning, within 2 weeks of school. And a lot of people would say that only happened for a few weeks. And previously, before that, in 2021 and 2020, our schools were closed. Our schools were struggling with the same issues that everyone has had with COVID. And so as a parent and as a counselor, I've been a licensed counselor for 23 years. I worked in about 5 different school districts across the nation. I come from a military family. I'm a veteran myself. I worked in the foster care system as an independent living coordinator for foster children. And I've worked in a psychiatric hospital for students. I've worked as a school-based therapist for students. And I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I have never seen what I saw in this school year. And can you point to anyone in particular? I don't think so. I think it was a collective mess and traumatic mess at that point, in that regard. And so one of the reasons that I decided to run is because my children had reading disabilities and they were not able to get the services that they needed. I was not allowed to help them. I was not allowed to volunteer. And so we right now stand at 70% third grade proficiency reading, and that's unacceptable in my opinion with this district with a $1.5 billion budget. And so I'm hoping that my business background, my counseling background, my veteran background, all of the things that I've been working on for the last 35 years will be able to contribute, and that hopefully you guys will think that as well on August 18th. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you so much. The district's academic priorities emphasize literacy. How do you plan to measure the success of current reading initiatives, and what adjustments would you advocate for to ensure that all students are reading at grade level by the end of 3rd grade? District 5, Beth Mayberry.
So I would, first of all, I would say, if you look at some of the interesting data that is being compiled right now, there was a very interesting interactive map that I put on my Facebook that you can use that looks at the demographics of where the school is and the students in it, and looks at what the expected scores of those students should be relative to the national averages, and then it says how well they actually performed. And if you look at that interactive map, what you're going to find is that our Sarasota schools, every single one of them, is at the average or above the average for the, not just the expected, but above the average expected score for a child with those in that particular demographic. So what it's telling me is that our schools are actually doing a very good job of taking students who maybe don't have all of the advantages and helping them learn to read. Having said that, that doesn't mean that's the only thing we need to do. I taught middle school, and let me tell you, the middle school kids don't like to read, they don't want to read, you have to force them to read, and that's also where we're continuing to see declines. So it doesn't just help us to get the kids up at 3rd grade level, we need to make sure they continue their literacy all the way through their high school careers. So I think we do need to make sure that we are not giving them the same kind of screen time that we had to give them back in the COVID years, that we are giving them much more longer passages and actual novels to read, because I think a lot of the scares that we've seen in the district and in our state about banned books and things like that have actually taken a lot of good literature that our students might enjoy reading and taken that out of our classrooms because the teachers are intimidated and don't want to get in trouble with a parent offering a kid a book that might not be approved. So I do think we need to continue working hard. I think we need to balance some of the resources that we see in the better off schools like a Southside that we don't see in schools, like a Emma Booker, or like a Gosco, or like our Glen Allen down in Northport. And if we can balance some of those resources and bring in some specific people who will sit with our kids and actually work with them individually, I think we can make a big difference in those scores.
Thank you. Heidi Brandt, District 1.
Yeah, I love this question because it is one of the things I am most passionate about when hopefully I'm on the school board. Southside does have a program called Reading Partners. We had about 50 students sign up this year that were matched up with parents, grandparents, other leaders, and it was a one-on-one 30-minute a week, every week, the same time a week. So my reading partner knew I was coming every Wednesday at 2:30. And before we did this, our teachers taught us UFly. UFly is a newer program that the district implemented for phonics, and it works with the Haggerty system. So we had a whole course and trained, and then we worked with our students. And by the end of the year, you would be amazed at the vast improvements that these students saw. It was incredible. Not only were they excited to read, because they always say, you know, you learn to read till 3rd grade, then you need to learn. I even know from my own daughter, she didn't like reading when she was like kindergartenish, because it was hard. When reading is hard, kids don't want to do it. So, like kind of Beth was saying, we have to make it fun. We have to find books that challenge them, books that excite them. But we really need to get some programs like this. I know Sky Ranch has ranch readers, and other schools have it too. But I would love to see this kind of program, volunteer program, implemented at every single elementary school, Booker, every school, because these one-on-one moments with these children working at phonics, who wants to sit and read it's awful to do that in front of your peers, awful. But you get a parent, you get a grandparent, you're one-on-one, and all of a sudden that intimidation goes away, that fear goes away, and they really can thrive. So I would love to see these programs go out to all our elementary schools. And again, Beth, I agree with you. The state average is about 53% literacy. We're at 70%. We're doing something right. So I have to applaud our teachers that are really doing a great job. We have great teachers. We have great schools. Just for example, this year, 3rd grade, my daughter's in 3rd grade, and her teacher took a book and turned it into a play. Like, that's the kind of awesome things that our teachers are doing, getting creative. So I'm gonna applaud our teachers. They're doing great. But we can do even better by bringing programs in to help those that really need the help.
Thank you so much. Frank DeChico, District 4.
So I think that there is, everything everybody's saying is absolutely correct, but there's one other piece, and I talk about this a lot. When I would drop my kids off at school, I sometimes saw kids going into school wearing pajamas. They're not really in the mindset to learn. And it's something that I used to tell when I was in sales. I did that for 20 years. Is I would tell the people who worked for me, you have to dress like you're going to go out and you're going to be successful, because it's a mindset. So we have a higher average than everybody else, but we're still at 70% or less. That's not okay. And then you hear about all these different cool programs going on at different schools, but they're all like one here, one there. I don't understand why the school board would not embrace something like that. And they don't, because they're too busy arguing about, well, whatever. So the point of it is, we can, as a board, and there's going to be 3 new people on that board. Somebody here is going to be on that board. But if they can work together with the 2 board members that are there now, and begin looking at our code of conduct, our attendance policy and dress code policy, and evenly apply that across all of the schools, so kids are going to school with the mindset to learn, because that's what they're supposed to do. And then secondly, look at all the great programs that we hear about on the campaign trail, and hear about a lot of things we never knew about, that they could be implemented countywide rather than school-wide. Because we have, people say, oh, something costs money, whatever. We have a $1.5 billion budget, which, I don't know, that's just an awful lot of money for us to not have any money. So something's amiss, and I think if we could look at cutting waste, not people, but waste, and using those funds to help these programs get launched through all the different schools, we'll see a proficiency rate going up because the kids will enjoy it more. And I'll tell you something on a personal note. When I went back to college, because I didn't do good when I was a teenager, at Eckerd College, they're very strict there. I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was, but it wasn't. And I had a problem comprehending what I read. I would have to keep reading it over and over and over. And I went to a speaking lab with some of the residential students, which I was like old enough to be their father. And they told me to read out loud. when I'm by myself, read everything out loud. I'm like, you know what, I'll try it. I couldn't believe how much more I remembered by doing that. And it's just some little tweak like that that a bunch of, seniors in college taught me and helped me out. Imagine if you look at all the teachers that we have throughout the county and all the ideas that they have, I don't think they feel comfortable bringing that up to the board. And I think we'd like to make that, and I think we'd all agree, let them be able to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa DeWitt, District 1.
All right, so I am gonna disagree a little bit as far as the 70% reading for third grade proficiency, because I believe that our teachers are excellent. I believe with the right resources that we can get that, we need that percentage up. I'll also throw something out that's very alarming to me, is that our reading level for 10th grade is only 61%. And these are students who are getting ready to decide what they want to do next steps as far as college. And this is from the district website. And so, one of the things that we did in 2020, 21, and 22, we accepted ESSER dollars to the tune of about $115 million. And 20% of those dollars were required to go to literacy improvement. And so what I saw, because I've been speaking at board meetings, consistently for about 5 or 6 years, and one of the things that I noticed, a lot of the dollars that came in went to programs and not directly to services for the students. In particular, like students with IEPs, with speech and OT. And so we struggle as a district in our ESE department, and that's something that needs to be looked at immediately. The other thing is that I pitched 5 years ago a volunteer program that would be, we would recruit and we would invest in our kindergarten parents, and we would expand that and invest in them, and then we would have those volunteers all the way through the children's school career. And we could expand that, fathers on the playground, grandmothers in the library, people helping out in the cafeteria. And that's one of the things, we are in a healing period and a recovery period, and I think that would go a long ways to continuing that healing process and welcoming all of the parents back. We lost over 1,400 students in the last 4 years. That's over $18 million. And so we can't have the conversations about where they went if we don't know where if we didn't pick up the phone and ask where they went and why they left. And so the other thing that I've decided to do, and I've mentioned this before, is that I've decided to dedicate, if I'm elected, my 4-year salary to literacy for Title I schools. And that is something that I've been talking about for a long time. And so I feel it's a small token of me investing back into the community. But the other thing that I want to make sure that everyone understands is that I owned and taught preschools for 7 years. The two things that makes the child successful in their early childhood is phonics and parent involvement. And we took both of those out of the district. We took phonics out of this district in 2017. That's per Karen Rose, a sitting board member, who said that. U-Fly is an instructional material that we didn't put in for 7 years. So we had all of these kindergarten, first and second graders go up through our grades without phonics. And if you look at the committee notes on the new curriculum, it says as of 2025, there was no progress in phonics. So my volunteer program that Mr. Connor and Tim Enos, the police chief, has said that they want to look at that actually would help get some of these things back in place. And so anyway, that's what I'd like to propose. And we've got to get those scores up immediately.
Thank you, Ms. DeWitt. Michelle Posey, District 5.
Thank you. And I think this is part of what Teresa's saying too, is part of why it's so important that I would have to probably disagree with my opponent here on this thing. We have to look back at what happened through history, because how do you know what direction to move forward unless you know and can accurately judge ourselves as a district lovingly with maybe the things we've done incorrectly. I think it's really wrong to think that we're going to judge teachers on their historical job career for the last year based on whether or not they're going to be retained and get adequate pay. It's unfair for us to do that to students all year long and then sit here as a district and think, but don't look back, only look forward. That's not realistic, and I have thick skin to do both, trust me. There's another thing I just want to clear up here while I have a moment, because I think when you sit up here on this panel and when you're out addressing the community, you better make sure that you are fact related. I have a lot of things that I say that I know people aren't always fans of, but I'm going to tell you, there's not been one book in Sarasota County School District that's been banned. And you need to understand that. because this has been a misnomer that has been used for talking points for the last 6 years. And for somebody that says they don't wanna look back, you have to look pretty far back to find that talking point, because it's not true. And I think while we're standing here as candidates for school board, and you don't see party platform, and you don't see red or blue, well, except our shirts. But you know, it's important to say that, because I don't want to give you the feeling that we in this district have participated in that whatsoever. It has not been done. So back to the question. I love what our teachers have done. I love the fact that graduation rates are up, but here's what doesn't make sense to me. How are our graduation rates up about 5% over the last year? But here at Booker High School, the proficiency rate for those that graduated in 12th grade is still only 40%. Are they prepared for the real world? What does that look like when they step out to their first job interview? What does that look like when they sit as a freshman in a Big Ten university? Yes, they've got the diploma. That's great, that's wonderful. I wanna make sure that diploma means something. And going back to what Teresa said, this is why I reflect back on what we've done over the last 6 years. It's not to throw our wonderful teachers or even our current school board members under the bus. I don't wanna do that at all. But I wanna take a clear reflection that says, listen, I own this on day one when you sit me in that seat. So I have my big girl pants on, I'm ready to look at this full term, but I tell you, that does not read well for me, that we are graduating them at a more successful rate, but with what qualities?
Thank you. Jimmy Glover campaign?
Thank you for that question. I'll do my best to answer this question to Jimmy's first. I'll do my best. First of all, I want to start by saying that Jimmy is the only one on this dais that has taken a kid that hasn't read correctly and brought them up to reading proficiency. I want to make sure that everyone understands that. That's what he does at this school. But I also want to tell you why he does that. I would like for the board to do a deeper dive into the reasons why reading is a problem. Because there are other reasons that we haven't addressed as a district or as a community so much. There is, especially in this particular community, there is a issue with food insecurity. There is an issue with trauma in the homes. There is an issue with parenting. There might be single parent homes, there might be homes that don't have any parents. Everybody knows that students do well with a dedicated teacher and an involved parent or parents. There are some schools, there are some neighborhoods, there are some areas where that just doesn't happen, that trifecta isn't present. So I would like to look at the reasons why there might be some lack or some disconnect in the reading proficiency levels. Trauma, for those of you who have experienced it or those of you who haven't, is very difficult to read. It's very difficult to learn how to read if you're hungry. If the only food that you've eaten is the school lunch that you have, it's very difficult to learn. Also, I can tell you, hands-on by my son, every kid learns differently. There is not a one-size-fits-all in any application. Some kids can sit and learn. Some kids have to move around. Some kids have to do other things. I'm not advocating for a individual learning for every kid. We have a lot of kids that you have to get to. But I am telling you that kids learn differently. Kids can't learn if they're hungry. And kids can't learn if they have trauma at home. And that's all I got.
Okay. Now I'm gonna, thank you. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do some district-related questions. So we're gonna go back to District 1. District 1. So as you all know, Dr. Rachel Shelley, who served as principal of Booker for the past 15 years, has recently retired, and a new principal has been selected, that being Jamal Crook. Many of those individuals in this room understand that process of choosing Mr. Crook was a very involved process. Many people like Mr. Harvey, Mrs. James, Coach Ward, and others in this room, everybody in this room wanted to ensure that there was transparency in that process, because Booker High is different in the sense of its history, its cultural diversity, and the many programs that it has to offer, like visual performing arts and the Law Academy. How will you, if elected as the, if it ain't Jesus, don't answer. How will you, as the next school board member of District 1, directly engage with Booker High School and ensure that Jamal Crook, the new principal, is on the right track in serving this community? I'll start with Teresa DeWitt.
So I have been a part of a selection committee process in the past with the district. And I've also attended a couple of the meetings for principals to be selected. And so, you know, one of the things that I always want to make sure is that the community members have full access, so they have full transparency. The meeting times, sometimes community members are not available at that time, and so that's something that we need to look at. I was on the superintendent selection committee, and each board member got to choose 2 people from the community. And we were able to ask a series of questions. I would have liked to have seen that process go to at the school level, right? And I know you're asking me about the principal, but I think that leadership, when we make these decisions, I think we need to mirror that same policy. And so I got to participate in that. I got to attend a few of the selection committee for principals and the questions that are asked. I just want to make sure that in any school where a principal is selected, that the vetting process is appropriate, that you, the community members, especially the community members and the students and parents, making sure that they're able to be there and ask the questions. I also would like to explore if there could be an advisory committee selected by those sets of parents that are directly affected by that selection. I know we just had a situation where there was a change within another school with another principal. I won't get into the details. However, when you make a change at the principal level, and we've seen this, we've been through 3, we're on our 3rd superintendent in what, 8 years? Something like that, 9 years? And so when you change leadership like that, you can have, you know, the students, you know, the stability with the students, the stability with the parents. So even at the school level, you know, I know that when, in the past, I have an older daughter graduating from public education, and they had a principal change and all of the children were upset. And, you know, some people don't have all of the facts. And so I would like to see where the community members are actually a part of the questioning process, not just come in and attend, but actually be maybe like a Booker parent advisory. I'm going to apply it to this situation. Committee where you could actually be a part of that selection. If we have something at Sky Ranch, we have those groups of parents that are, you know, assigned to that school. So anyway, so that's kind of, I'm just throwing that out there for making sure that transparency, availability, getting the meetings where parents can be there and attend, and making sure that it's, I mean, even televised. I mean, with video and stuff, we can have that selection run. I see people shaking their heads, yes. So even people who aren't available to come down to the school, we could do that, you know, by video. So anyway, so those are a couple of my suggestions.
Thank you. Jimmy Glover campaign.
I want to talk about the process because he's not on the board yet to actually talk about the process. I do want to talk about that particular school. I know that when Jimmy was thinking about running for office, that I was the first person he spoke to about it. The second person he spoke to was Dr. Shelley. I'm a little honored because Dr. Shelley is one of my heroes. Dr. Shelley educated all 4 of his children, all 4 of them. And all 4 of them have gone on to a collegiate experience. His oldest graduated from Middle Tennessee. His next one goes to University of Florida. The next one goes to film school in Atlanta. And the youngest just got accepted to a school in Miami. She just started Monday. And he did that because she had such a big influence on his life as a dad. One of the reasons that I'm honored to be his campaign manager is because Jimmy is one of my heroes. He's a black man that has successfully navigated schools and has successful outcomes for all of his kids. I don't say that to brag, I don't brag on his behalf, and he doesn't brag, he's a very modest man. But he attributes that to Dr. Shelley. He attributes the kids' success to Dr. Shelley and the programs that she's put in place. This new guy, and that's what I'm gonna call him, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but he's not Dr. Shelley. This new guy is gonna need the support of the community, he's gonna need the support of the district, because those are very big shoes to fill, huge shoes to fill. And I know that me as a leader in this community, and Jimmy as a leader in this community are gonna do everything we can to make sure that he's successful, and that he carries on the tradition with Dr. Shelley. Hopefully I answered the question.
You did. Last but not least, District 1, Heidi Brandt.
I have been to numerous performances out at Booker. My daughter does ballet downtown, not at Sarasota Ballet, but a smaller little studio. And she works with Miss Jessica Pope, who does modern dance at Booker, and Miss Isabel Frundick, who does dance at Booker. And so I know the quality of instructors that you have there, and the performances and the students, how amazing they are. And I know that was from the top. The leadership was there. And so even one of the moms, Miss Hoffman, her daughter goes there now, and says, what are we gonna do? How is this new guy gonna be? Is it gonna be the same? Is it gonna be the same? And, you know, have faith, have faith. But to get to the part about hiring, like I mentioned earlier, we're going through the same process, not as big, but we are losing our dance instructor at South Elementary School. It's something that our foundation pays for. She writes plays, she works with our kindergarten, first, second, and third graders, and she does dance and movement. My daughter sobbed on the way home yesterday when I told her that she was leaving. She's taking a job in somewhere else. I shouldn't say too much because it's very new information, but taking a job somewhere else. My daughter sobbed. She was so attached to her. She said, "Who's going to be our new teacher?" And I said, "Well, you want to be on the committee?" "Yes, sign me up." So that brought me to talking to other families and parents. So it's very important. Parents have a passion of who you're hiring. They all want to be involved and they all deserve a voice. So yes, we are going to form a committee with parents and with other teachers too, because you have to make sure that your leaders and your teachers work well together. I mean, you're together all day. You're a little family. You have your own individual classes, but you're a giant family working together. So we are organizing parents and teachers to get together and start the interview process, along with admin as well. So it's a collaborative, because you want to have a voice from everyone, the parents, the teachers, and maybe even the children also. So I do hope and pray Mr. Cook has the support that he needs, because this is an exceptional school. I love seeing what all these amazing teachers do and the students, they're amazing. So I'm gonna root for him and for all your faculty to support him as well.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brandt. Moving on to District 5. Based on 2025-2026 school year data, there are 5 Title I schools located in Northport: Atwater Elementary, Cranberry Elementary, Glen Ellen Elementary, Lamarck Elementary, and then Heron Creek Middle School. The question that I have for you is, with several Title I schools in your district, what specific strategies or additional resources will you prioritize to ensure these schools not only maintain compliance, but also see measurable improvements in student achievement and literacy rates? And I'll start with Ms. Posey.
I love this, because I think one of the things we do agree on is that it's been a long time since we had representation on this school board from our little old area that they called Northport, that they've now paved over so quickly that it just has become the largest part, obviously, of Sarasota County. I've been in Northport for about 22 years. Again, my son went to Cranberry Elementary School. I was one of the, we didn't call them den mothers, but one of the mothers that was, it's really because I couldn't cut the cord. That's why I was in the classroom all the time. But they were like, let's just put you to work and let you volunteer. I loved Cranberry Elementary School, but I'll tell you, to say that we have, a need there as far as Title I schools is putting it very, very lightly. I think we have to be that example in the school board dais. We have to be that example, and we also have to not be afraid to be the person that's advocating both at the state level and if we have to at the federal level. Because I'm telling you, if you have those connections and those relationships, not everybody's happy to see me when I show up in Tallahassee, but they know I'm showing up with an ask. And they know that there's gonna be a consequence to not giving that ask, because we're the constituents. I plan on taking that same firebrand with me as I represent the entire district. Part of what I'm doing, what I've already begun doing, is working with state legislatures to try to solve the problem that we've developed here in the state of Florida, just like a lot of other states, with our literacy rates. I've mentioned at many other debates that we've done, many other panel discussions that we've done. If you just take a look at what Mississippi's done in the last 10 years, last 12 years with the Mississippi Miracle. You want to talk about something that profoundly unites both blue and red and every social economic pitfall there is. Look at what Mississippi did with the Mississippi Miracle. They took the education system from almost 49th in the country to being between the 4th and 6th. They kind of teeter between there. They didn't spend an insane amount of money to do this. What they did is they started the accountability at the state level and said, we see you teachers, we hear what you're saying, we see that there's an issue, we are going to fund the solution, we're gonna give you the guardrails that you need to make sure that in your classroom you can make the right choices. They embraced it at a district level throughout the state. I've already been working with legislators on how do we take that same bill draft language, and I'm talking the early one from 2013, plus the updates in 2016. How can we do that here in the state of Florida? I'll come back to this exact room once we do it, and you guys can help me name it. Because we're gonna do it for our kids. We're gonna unite for our kids. I'm telling you that this is something that has been done in other states. We should be leading the way as well, and I'd be proud to do it as somebody who represents Northport, but I promise I'll represent all of you.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Posey. Ms. Mayberry.
So, I have to disagree with my opponent. We've been asking the legislature for a lot lately, and we've gotten very, very little. So I just don't believe that going to Tallahassee is gonna get us what we need for our Title I schools. Just like you have Emma Booker, we have Alta Vista, we have other Title I schools in the north. We do have 5 Title I schools, one of them's a middle school. We have the 4 elementary schools, and all of those actually funnel up into our 1 high school. We're gonna be seeing some relief from that by having the Llewellyn Park coming on board. So those schools need more support. It doesn't have to be money, it can be people support. Okay, Northport historically has been the area of the county, along with North County, where the worker bees went because it was cheaper to buy houses there. And now, it's not so cheap to buy houses in Northport. A lot of those worker bees are going to perish, which means Manatee District is benefiting from their increasing enrollment, and we are not in Northport anymore. So the problem there is we have parents who are working. A lot of them have their own businesses, but there's an awful lot of people who are working 1, 2, 3 jobs. And those parents struggle. And we need to have some help for those schools. That includes doing things like after-school tutoring, making sure that our before and after-school care has programs in there to support academics, whether that's included reading instruction, making sure that we are getting volunteers in there to help in the classroom to act as mentors or as tutors. Very important that we support and look at the resources that some schools have and other schools don't, and try to balance those resources so that all of our schools and all of our kids can benefit. It's those schools that bring our average score down, because those schools struggle for resources, the kids struggle for attention and for the things that they need to be successful, and that will help the entire district bring our averages up once we help those Title I schools.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mayberry, District 4. So as everyone in this room knows, Robin Marinelli is not seeking re-election, Bridget Ziegler is not seeking re-election, and we have one more that's not seeking re-election. Karen Rose is not seeking re-election, thank you. So at this point in time, obviously, saying something nice about the incumbent won't hurt you. My question for both candidates in District 4 is, can you tell me something that Robin Marinelli did during her tenure on the Sarasota County School Board that you would like to continue? I'll start with Frank Chico.
Well, you know, the one thing that I can say Robin Marinelli did recently is there was a press conference, and she actually spoke to the fact that the moving of the school board times from 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. was temporary.
Was what?
Was temporary, which on her press conference, I literally just saw it the other day, she said that this is something that definitely should be put back. So rather than looking at things that may or may not have been done in the past, every time I speak, whenever she's in the room, I always tell her, Robin, I love you, but I'm not okay with this moving this time. There's a very good possibility they may move it back. If they don't, I guarantee you, no matter who gets elected, that time is going back. So, you know, I have nothing bad to say about her. What I would like to say is that I think that overall, the school board members do seem a bit unapproachable. And I think that's a huge problem. The other thing is, and this is fantastic, we just learned about this the other night, that there's a new statute that got passed by the state where board members are now allowed to talk to admin staff and principals and so on. And it's interesting because something that I want to do that I think would be different than what the board members now are doing is have a listening tour. And I feel that while they meet twice a month, this is more than some part-time job. You need to invest a lot more time into it. So my goal is to, every Wednesday night, from about 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, meet at a school and do it in all 4 areas. So Northport, Venice, Sarasota, and then up here in North County, the Booker schools, where parents, teachers, and students can come in and talk to a board member, talk to me directly. And I don't think it's because parents and teachers, they call and they try to get things done. I don't think everybody really understands the process of who to talk to. I will tell you, I was told to do something when I had a problem with my kids, and I left a voicemail for somebody, and eventually they called me back and said, hey, I'm not the person to talk to. Well, you know what, all this time has gone by. I think we need to have better communication. So when a board member can say in a press conference the other day that maybe this is something we should revisit, moving the school times back, I think that's great. But I think going forward, that should have been done, it should have been done in the first place, but it should have been turned around way sooner. And I think if there's more communication, and if they knew just how serious that negatively affected everybody, they might have done it. And it's about communication. So I would hope that I could do something like that, and that I would be welcome to come up here and, you know, one night a month, people will come in and tell me what's going on. Because guess, I don't know it. There's no way any of us can know all of it. And that's the best way to find out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. DeChico. Now, we're going to move into audience questions. Now, one of the things that my late father believed in was starting on time and ending on time. So, even though he's not here, he's here. So I want to make sure that I make him proud. So I say that to say I received a lot of great questions from the audience. Obviously, you know, we can't ask every single question. I'm going to try to pick 2 questions. Now, with that said, here you have access to these candidates right here. So my goal is to actually give you all time to interface with the candidates after we are finished here. That's why I'm going to kind of wrap things up just a little bit quicker. So I'm going to pass these back out, or if you could perhaps remember your questions, be sure to go up to these candidates and ask, because these are some great questions, but we do only have this room for a limited time.
Just
So
give us a minute and a half. We can answer in a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Minute and a half? All right.
That's fair.
So let's do this. All right. We'll start with you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. So, thank you. How can we be sure that authentic whistleblowers be protected to bring forth illicit/inappropriate behaviors by faculty so that our children are safe?
Great question. Again, I'll go back to that school board Bill of Rights, which in the past, if I wanted to talk to staff member, I had to get permission from the superintendent. So principals would protect their staff, superintendent would protect the principals, and the school board members were limited in how much information they could get. At this point, we have the ability to talk directly to teachers, staff members, any of the administration, et cetera. So I think having that ability and being present in the schools, because I think as a school board member, it's our job to be ambassadors, not just to the community, but out to our schools and to our teachers and to our students. I think we'll be able to look people in the eye, ask the correct questions, and find out if something hinky's going on and bring it up and get it resolved.
Thank you so much, Michelle Posey.
Yeah, just to talk about the School Board Bill of Rights, which I know is the new legislation that my opponent is referring to. Again, that was total cooperation of going to Tallahassee and helping to work on that, so our state legislators do care, and you can move the needle, and you can't ever disengage from that battle, guys. You've got to continue to do it. They work for you. So that is one route, but I'll tell you, as a school board member, it's not my job to get involved in things that are being investigated. The key to this is going to be Fortify Florida. Every school district has it. We value it here in the state of Florida. It is the universal anonymous reporting system that we use. Unfortunately, it started after the shooting over in Parkland, but what they do is they've got a way to report these things anonymously. What my concern is Fortify Florida getting bogged down now with everything. So I asked the question of our superintendent, what about things that you're seeing coming out now where there's been inappropriate relationships between teachers and students? Is that something that you're telling our students or another educator to call Fortify Florida for? Because Fortify Florida was supposed to be, I see somebody with a gun on our campus, rapid response with law enforcement. I don't know that that is the same. I don't know that that is the same. There has to be a decision made there. I think we will be a great board to do that. Because maybe there needs to be something that's parallel to Fortify Florida. Again, Fortify Florida was Marjorie Stoneman Douglas related. How do we alert somebody, see something, say something? But there's definitely got to be a way that we can give our teachers and staff a way to report as well. Again, not my job to get involved in the investigation, just my job to make sure that it's done and done fairly.
Thank you. Frank Chico, District 4.
So whistleblowers need to be protected at all costs. The minute that that is severed, there's no way anybody's going to feel comfortable coming forward because of retaliation. For 20 years, I worked in corporate America. I will tell you one thing about that. In HR, don't get me wrong, it was a pain in the neck in a lot of ways, but I will tell you, when something like that happened, it was very, very, very good about the way they kept people safe from that. Because let's call it what it is. You can have all the laws you want. Once it's out, you're going to be retaliated against. I don't care. And I'll tell you, I have kind of a big mouth, so I definitely said stuff and it got out and I was a little annoyed. So when I got into working with that department, I learned how we could keep these things quiet so people can understand. So we need to know what's going on, because we can talk about all the tragedies that happen and it's horrible, but every day somebody is being affected, whether it's a student who wants to say something about a teacher, or whether it's a teacher that needs to say something about a coworker or a student. Everybody's afraid. They feel nobody has their back. And that's just not okay. I think that with a board that is united as a team, and with us being allowed to talk to people without some law preventing us from, which is now we're able to do, I think we can really put a dent in that so people will feel safe. Because the worst thing you can do to somebody is tell them it's okay, tell us what's going on, and then rat them out. I just have zero tolerance for that. I didn't grow up that way, and I certainly wouldn't want to see that ever happen. So that's my take on that. Thank you.
Heidi Grant, District 1.
Yeah, I don't know if this is because of what was going on in the news, we're talking about communication, but there's no reason that complaints or issues should have gone unresolved for 6 years. There was a breakdown in communication somewhere, and we need to fix it. I think opening up communication with staff, the school board, and admin will be a good start. I believe it was 2 school board meetings ago, there were 2 parents that came to the school board with complaints that had gone unresolved. They had reached out, and they weren't being heard. It took them going to the school board meeting to actually be heard. That's not acceptable. I'm glad that they had that avenue to voice their complaints, but we need to be better at communicating. And as far as the whistleblower goes, it reminds me of a story that I just read about, it was like an online thing. A daughter went to a party. She shouldn't have been there. She called her mom. Her mom picked her up. Her mom didn't yell at her. Her mom drove her home. And I tell that to my daughter too. Sometimes she does something, she knows she shouldn't have done that, but she's honest and she tells me anyway, and I don't yell at her for it. I reinforce, you need to come forward, you need to tell the truth. That's who you have to be. And these people who are coming forward with complaints, they cannot feel that they are going to be discriminated against or harmed by coming forward. We need to make their complaints feel valued and heard. So I think that's something that we definitely can work on, maybe by adding another avenue where they can bring those complaints forward. But communication is key always, and coming forward without feeling prejudice is important.
Jimmy Glover campaign.
I'm gonna answer this question a little differently. I want to answer this question from a personal standpoint. I have family members that are teachers. I have an SLP in my family, and I have a district teacher that teaches down in Northport. And I can tell you categorically that they're afraid to talk to administration. Now that's disgusting. They're afraid to talk to administration. I run companies. I would be dismayed if my employees were afraid to bring a problem to me. I would be so dismayed it would tear me up if that was true. But they are afraid to bring problems to administration. They're afraid to. One of them told me that my goal is to not get any complaints from any parents, so that no one comes to talk to me about anything. That's fear. That can't be tolerated. Hopefully, this board that comes up new, and I know if Jimmy gets on the board, he's going to make sure that there is no fear for speaking to an admin. Ratting out, and I'll use Frank's words, ratting out a whistleblower is intolerable. It's unconscionable. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen, and there should be rules put in place so that that doesn't happen. But also, we have to change the culture. We have to change how people relate to each other. I, for one, as a parental figure, am furious that my family can't go to the admin and tell them about a problem that they see or that they are having. That's unconscionable. It shouldn't happen. And this board, however it's the makeup, is going to be charged with fixing that.
Thank you. Teresa DeWitt.
A school board member has two functions. One is the budget, and you have one employee who is the superintendent of schools. Right now, the superintendent meets with school board members one-on-one. That's what they call them, one-on-ones. And so they discuss a variety of issues and situations. I agree that there has been a culture in this school district, and at the administrative level, there has been issues that have happened, and I mean, we had to, not we, but the school board had to fire our last superintendent and the one before that because of some of the cultural stuff that is going on, some of the people being afraid to communicate about things. And so also too, I think it also, we need to build on the partnerships with our Tim Enos, who's our school police chief. I think it's gonna take partnerships to change that culture, and yes, school board members, whoever are on the dais, they are able to now communicate, but we have to make sure that we do not interfere in investigations. I know that in the past, when at the administrative level, if there's a certain type of complaint, it can stay at the school level with an internal type process, but then if there's other situations, they have to go straight to the state level to be reported. And I do know that we've had issues with those personnel issues being reported at the state level. And so it's a combination of issues that needs to be resolved, and shining the light on this situation more and more, that will produce policy, because we are in unique positions where whoever's on that board, we create policy in partnership with Terry Connor. But Terry Connor can write up the policy, but he can't vote it in. That's our job. And so we need to make sure that from leadership top down, we have a strong understanding that no one will be afraid to approach us, no one will be afraid to communicate with us, whether it's a school level, whether it's a parent, or whether it's administrators. And if we find someone that is doing that, we need to make the change immediately instead of putting someone in another position and hiding that problem. We need to address it head on. And so, as a veteran, I don't have a problem addressing problems head on, and I don't have a problem at all supporting good policy and good leadership. And if I have to be the bad guy once in a while, that's okay, that's what leadership has to do sometimes. So, and we've gotten to know each other over this county, and everyone up here is pretty tough. And they have a high expectation for this school district, because your tax dollars is what we are managing, and we have a responsibility to make sure that we protect students as well as teachers and as well as whistle blowers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yet again, I want to thank the audience for submitting these wonderful questions. My mother is standing next to me. So I know I'm gonna do the right thing and wrap this thing up. But you do have, we have this room, I think, for another 15 minutes or so.
13 minutes.
So if you'd like to interface with the school board candidates, I highly encourage you to do so. Again, my name is Ed James III. I thank you all so much for your time. Thank you so much again for lending yourself to public service. As you all know, this is a nonpartisan race, so there will be no R, no D next to any of these individual
No kicking
names.
people out.
Anyone,
they're
irrespective of
supposedly
political
MAGA.
affiliation, can vote for these folks. And like I think Beth Mayberry told us, it doesn't matter if you live in North Sarasota, you can still vote all the way down for District 5 and vice versa, so on and so forth. So we know that the school board is going to look different coming up, because again, 3 of the incumbents are not running for re-election. So I highly encourage you all to do your duty, go out and flex your political muscle, and go out and vote local all the time. Thank you. I'll pass it on to Mr.
Mention Saturday. He mentioned Saturday.
Oh, yes, all right. One last thing, I'm passing it on. This upcoming Saturday, the NAACP, along with the partnership of several local organizations, will be hosting an upcoming forum that specifically deals with the issue of gerrymandering and the Supreme Court issue that impacts several majority-minority districts across Florida and across the United States of America. There will be an esteemed group of panelists. The event starts at 10 a.m. at Ringling College in the Morgan Roth Auditorium from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Some scrub named Ed James III will also be moderating that event. So if you thought, I did an all right job, make sure you stop by there. And again, continue to engage with this community. Suncoast Women of Action and NAACP, along with so many other organizations and Greek organizations, church organizations, do an amazing job. So if this is your first time, or one of your few times to the Newtown, North Sarasota community, stick around. We don't bite. All right? All right, thank you.
I'm trying, bro.
But let me just continue on. I would like to introduce the Suncoast Women of Action members. Would you please stand? We have some ladies here. These are ladies in the community. Some of them the ladies have retired, and some are still working. But we're here for you. What we do, we go out, we tell people what's going on. We cannot support candidates, but we support issues. And what we're gonna make sure everybody is registered to vote 29 days prior to the election. And we're gonna make sure, have literature that you can pass out. But if did you guys bring literature with you tonight? Yes. Okay, well, thank you so much. And I'd like to thank the audience for taking out their time in this schedule. Mr. Salem is a contractor here in the Newtown area. Thank you, Mr. Salem.
That's the state of Florida.
State of Florida. And let me add something else to Suncoast Women of Action. We work hard, we do a lot of things, but we have to have some guys with us to help us along. Coach Jim Ward is as Katrina Ward's husband. They both worked in the school system for a long time. So Coach Ward is coming over to help Suncoast Women. He helps Suncoast Women of Action a lot. Mr. Red Watson back there in the back, and then my son. So you know what, we're getting you guys to help us out also, but sometimes we have to string up tents and do a lot of good stuff. But anyways, we thank you so much, and good luck. Okay.
Good job.
Good night.
They're getting the dollars for them, and they're putting them into Main Street.
It's a.
Well, one of the things they're doing.
Green shirt just came over and she's like, if you're married, you need to leave. I'm like, what?
What they're doing is they're putting our kids here, my twins, and reading.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he came over and he's like, oh, someone told me, no, you're sick.
And then they pull them
Like
out
someone
for
says that,
research.
you know. Yeah, I come to every event around here. It's always fun.
That's one thing, and I can say.
She just came right up to me and I didn't even know. Didn't introduce yourself and just said, you mad at me? Like, you mad at me? I'm like, kiss my ass, I'm like,
You asked for a line item on the budget. We adopted audit rates on that for 3 years. For 3 years. They're spending our $1.5 million. So we've got so much money. You notice that the person who was retired. We have someone here. But when I did an audit on our budget about 5 years ago, it was during the COVID time when nobody could open our cases and talk to them. So I started auditing their online systems. And what I found was everybody EMC people. They were doing, when you're individual education plan is a federal document, and so I started working on it. Yeah, you know, yeah. And oh, that's I appreciate it.
Hey, did I behave myself, man? Did I behave myself? I just think it was kind of odd, like, coming over and saying, "Are you MAGA?" And if you're MAGA, you gotta leave. And I'm like,
I don't, yeah,
I mean, like, I introduce myself to people when I talk to them, and like, we're talking about, you know, like I don't really think that's respectful.
I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for myself.
Yeah. Who said I was?
I have, bro, I don't, all I did was I came over, I asked a question.
Yeah, but
You told me that that's not the case. There's no issue. You know what I'm saying? I don't represent everybody. I represent myself.
Yeah, but
I'm an individual.
me too.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a candidate. I'm just, so I don't know. All I'm saying is everything's good. It has really, I mean, no
I'm
bearing.
just curious, like, because I like to introduce myself.
I mean, all I know is I walked in here and that was somebody said something and I just saw my mom talking to you and I just rushed over.
No, I'm cool with it,
yeah.
but like, I mean, I just want to know like who said,
I
because
don't-
no one's ever said that about me, and like, I probably know more Democrats than you.
And it doesn't matter because this is a 501c3.
Yeah.
So it's all good. It's all,
All right, man.
yeah.
All right.
Have a good
I
one.
just, I wasn't expecting that, man. I
Are you,
appreciate it.
are you tracking for a particular candidate?
So I've said publicly I support Teresa, but I film everybody and I speak with everybody. I do interviews.
You're allowed
and,
to do that, bro. It's cool, bro. I'm just asking. Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, because it's like, well, I thought it was kind of weird that we had a campaign manager up there, to be honest. I've never seen that before.
Well, the candidate wasn't here, and so
Yeah,
that was it.
yeah. But I mean, I've never seen that in candidate form. But no, I just,
You see. So are you recording me right now?
I record everything, yeah. But especially when people say I'm being like disruptful, like I can't have people, you know,
Bro,
something going.
I
I mean, you
literally-
seem cool, but like I
I
just,
literally came over.
yeah, yeah.
I found out my mom is running around trying to get things done.
But
And
why would
that's
you
it, bro.
say that? I mean, like, do you want to bring her over so we can like maybe?
Bro, it's over with.
Yeah, but I
it's,
mean-
it's over with. It's over with. My mom walked in. She was flustered. People are all in her ear. She was running behind. That's it. That's it. Thank you all so much.
You
for
don't like
coming.
feeling unwelcome where you go, though, do you?
No, I'm saying thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming.
It's cool. I'm just asking you, like,
Of course I don't want to
Okay.
feel unwelcome.
All right.
I mean, again, I thank you. Look, man, it's all part
We're
of
cool, man. I
the civic
just like I'm just
process.
trying to talk
God
about it.
bless
But I
you.
appreciate you.
God bless you, brother.
You
for
too,
real.
man. You too. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
it.
we need to correct the budgeting issues.
Oh, and what was I gonna ask? And what's your name, ma'am? CJ. CJ, what's your last name?
I don't have to give my last name.
Okay, no worries, no worries. It's all good. All right, nice to meet you.
They're so weird here, dude.
Ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, okay, yes, ma'am.
People try to.
Well, they get additional
It's a little
funds,
power.
so I don't know exactly how much, but you know, every time we get like 13,000 per student, but then when you have ESC, because they have that IEP, so then you have, that's attached to it. So we have some money from the state. and most of the federal grants, they were spending it on salaries and on services.
That's what.
You know, when I just read that our 10th grade reading had 61%. I mean, nobody wants to talk about that. Like, these kids are trying to decide what they want to do.
And then I said, support it. Yeah, I would support it. Intentional. So that way they can, because that's the reason why I see them. That's fine.
Well, I had to live that outside.
I just-
I mean, it was expensive. I worked myself washing all the uniforms. I like them, but that's about uniforms.
I'm like, yeah, there's a cop strike me out of this thing.
I wore a uniform. I wore a uniform.
This is like not what we're wearing. My mom can't do it. So. Huh? Oh, I know.
college students.
That's one less pressure you take off a household.
Yes, it is.
All grade levels, you ain't gotta worry about the latest fashion.
The differences in income.
I mean, with 3 shoes.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it for the younger ones, yeah. Uniforms all the way up to 12th grade. Oh, I know.
Thank you.
You know, this is my mom.
I really apologize. Someone told me something when I walked in the door, so that's why.
Like I said,
Yeah, I
she
just
was-
appreciate, you know, like giving someone an opportunity before you judge them, you know?
I know, but someone told me something. I had to get in here. That's my first. So you saw me walking in?
Yeah.
I apologize.
I appreciate that.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, we're cool.
Because we shouldn't do that.
I agree. I appreciate
I should
you.
have investigated because you said it was bad.
I appreciate you.
Can I just ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is your first realization. Okay. What does somebody have having to do with MAGA?
Ma'am,
It's a discussion. It's a
no.
discussion. It's okay.
This isn't a gotcha question.
It's just
What
a
if
question.
Like,
It's
if
okay.
you're encouraging everybody to vote.
and she is encouraging
She's
everyone to
talking to
vote.
your mom.
Someone came and said it was
It wasn't even.
But who
it
was
wasn't
it?
even about.
Who was it?
That's.
a troublemaker. They said, no, that had nothing to do with someone told me.
Ma'am, listen, my mom has already apologized.
Hey
This
man,
is my mom.
relax.
No, my mom has already
You
apologized.
said you can only speak for yourself.
No,
Now
I
you're
cannot,
talking
but
for your
I'm
mom.
talking for my 76-year-old mother right now. Please, she's already
You're getting
answered
all
the-
worked up.
Yeah, I
Relax.
know. She's already answered the question.
You're yelling.
She's already. I know what I'm
Relax.
doing because she's already answered the question.
Relax.
No, you don't have to tell me what to do.
You're getting worked up. And,
I know, you're
and
not
look,
my
look, man. I was
You're not my
told you're
therapist.
MAGA. You need to leave. If anyone
I
should be
know
yelling,
that, and
I
my
should
mother
be, and I'm not.
and my mother
You want
apologized.
people to learn more about your organization?
That's not my organization. It's my mom's organization.
She said
but-
you're a part of it.
Yes. Okay. What? I mean,
All
what
right,
is
it's
it?
okay. You're very emotional about it.
Closing in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good time to leave anyway. You good? Just relax, man. People can talk. It's not a big deal.
No, but you're continuing to ask the same question over and over, and
No,
it's
we're not.
almost like you're antagonizing.
No, you want it to be antagonizing.
I don't want it to be antagonizing
Okay,
at
then
all. I haven't
relax,
said
we can talk.
anything to you that I haven't said. I'm not.
I said we're cool.
Yes, sir.
I said we're cool.
All right. Thank
We're
you.
just asking questions, man. Just relax.
I'm sorry. I'm protective of my mom.
I get it. But like, no one's mad at your mom. Like, it's okay.
Just trying to understand.
She came in, somebody was yelling, and my mom like ran over, and that's all she heard. She didn't know anything. I immediately came over, and I'm like, Mom, it's cool. You know what
Yeah,
I
you
mean?
diffuse it. Yeah, 100%, man.
You gotta understand, my mom was literally running in with all this water, and somebody said something she overheard, and she came over. She's a human being. People make mistakes.
No, that's fine.
You know what I mean? So like, don't hold it against my mom. Like she's working, she's trying
No
to
one's
run an
holding it against your
organization.
mom.
She's trying to. I mean, this is a community-run organization.
Yeah.
Nobody like I've been.
Well, you do understand, like, you're not, like, you can't discriminate on people's viewpoints. So that's why the question's being made.
Of course.
And she specifically, it wasn't
She-
about
no,
disrupting.
she said
It was
that.
about MAGA.
Yes, that is
I
correct.
disagree with Trump on a lot of things too, man.
Bro,
So like,
I
but it shouldn't even matter.
It doesn't.
You know,
It
I mean,
doesn't. No, my dad was a Republican.
Yeah.
So it's all good. She was married to a Republican so that's not, yeah. And I'm an NPA. So there you go.
it's just an odd thing to bring up. Then. It's just an odd thing to bring up. That one, you know, that's what I mean. Is like, you know. But anyway, it's okay. We're cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, sir.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good condition, put it back out there.